So hi Hugh. So what can you tell us about the character you're playing in Doctor Who and about the episode as a whole?
I play a pirate captain who, with his crew, has become becalmed on the high seas with our booty intact. But there are strange forces at work, largely in the form of Lily Cole playing a mysterious sea creature who is a force against us. And onto our ship lands this strange blue police box and a strange man who the first thing we do to him is make him walk the plank, because that's what pirates do. And from then on, the story unfolds in a very surprising way, and takes us on twists and turns throughout the bowels of the ship and into strange worlds.
So is this an Earth-based pirate story in our own past?
Absolutely, yes. It's set in the 17th century, and well, I can't say too much about it, but it certainly explores the themes of right and wrong, mortality, greed, responsibility, all sorts of things, and it's just a roistering good adventure.
What was it like to film on that sort of pirate ship set that we've seen pictures of?
Well, we had the set in the studio of the interior of the ship, but the exterior, as you say, we filmed in Charlestown in Cornwall, near St Austell, on this fabulous ship, which we've spent 3 or 4 nights shooting on, in the wind and the rain, and with Karen swinging from the rigging, and she had all the swashbuckling stuff, while we stood around looking like rather fey blokes. But she had all the action stuff and really got stuck into it, as you will have seen. And it was a huge adventure, very wet, very windy, but very good fun.
Was this swashbuckling sort of very different from everything else you've done in your career? Obviously, you've done lots of different things, but these sorts of action scenes, was that quite different?
Well, sort of yes and no. I mean, I think the brilliance of this script, and I really mean this, Steve Thompson's writing, and indeed Stephen Moffat's overarching ambition for the series, is that these stories can go anywhere. And in this episode, there's such a great range of tone and theme. It's very funny in parts. The Doctor, obviously, is so much of the time is mercurial and one step ahead of everyone. But there's some very sort of dark and poignant themes within the story. So I think it's the while I haven't done a show of this kind before, a lot of it feels familiar in terms of the sort of the depth of the writing, but the sheer fun of it is something I hadn't anticipated. And when you've got people like Matt and Karen and Arthur, who are extremely good actors but extremely good fun to work with, they bring a sort of lightness of touch to what is some quite grown-up themes in the story and indeed in the series. So no, it's a slight departure for me, and something I'd love to revisit.
You were quoted as saying that the episode isn't for the faint-hearted. How scary does it really get?
Well, that would be saying too much. I mean, one man's terror is another man's bit of fun. But I find some of the themes quite dark, and there's a very real sense of mortality in the show, very serious, and that's quite sobering, really. And my character has to come face to face with some pretty big questions about his own life and his own death, and of those around him. So, but that's not to say it's all sort of deeply depressing and sad. It's in the context of a family adventure show. Let's face it. But there are some pretty grown-up thoughts within it.
You mentioned Lily Cole's character. She, of course, coming from a modelling background, might be quite different from other people you've worked with. But what was she like on set?
The main thing about Lily Cole to remember is she's very tall, and she's great to work with, and she does play this extraordinarily strange creature. Well, if you've been told by the director to stare at Lily Cole for 5 minutes, enough said.